Dzień dobry, namaste, hola, good morning. Hope you're doing well today. It's Ken at 10. Good morning to you. If you haven't been here before, then welcome. Where you been? Come here every day at 10 o'clock. Make sure you lock it in. This is James Alexander Estate Agent. We're based in southwest London, SW16 to be precise, and we broadcast every day talking about all things property and everything else, really. So how are you today? Hope you're having a good day. Wednesday, middle of the week, funny days, neither here nor there, isn't it? Wednesday, it's one of those, but fairly busy day it's looking like for me at the moment. Interesting looking at generation buy. This is obviously a referral to generation rent. The fact that this generation find it very, very hard to get onto the housing market. And let's face it, not surprising, is it? We've got mortgages disappearing, those mortgages available for first-time buyers at higher rates than the rest of the market. And even when they are available, 15% deposits required. So Boris Johnson, in his wisdom, sounds like a good idea to me. He's going to make it so that we can have 5% deposits instead of 15. It'd be interesting to see how this works in practice. My main anxiety, number one, is that it should be available for the whole of market, not just the new builds. That's always been the mistake this government makes. They make an appealing statement about housing and how it's going to work, and then they aim it towards the the new build market. And that's no good for first-time buyers. They want to live in their current communities, not somewhere else. And they want it for affordable prices. And what happens is that the prices just get whacked up by the developers by the amount of the incentive, because they know there's going to be loads of people require the 5% scheme. So I hope that this is going to be a universal across the board 5% offer. And I hope the lenders are forced to make concessions with regards to the rate, because at the moment what they're doing is they're loading the first-time buyer rates because of the perceived increased risk. And if the government's underwriting part of that, then that risk goes down, and therefore so should the rates. And I hope that happens, because first-time buyers deserve the opportunities that we had when we were younger to get on the ladder, and it's harder and harder. And if it succeeds, this could be a massive turnaround for the housing market. I've said for a long time now, there's a real logjam and a problem with the housing market in that first-time buyers can't buy that flat buyer can't buy their first house, and so on. So first-time buyers are a real critical part of the mix. And if you stimulate that end of the market, then everything else goes with it. So I think it's a great idea. I've yet to see the meat on the bones as to how it's going to work. But if it's worked well, then this could be the thing that really kickstarts the housing market. And regardless of whether the stamp duty deadline remains come March, if this scheme is good and strong, then it will stimulate the market, and the market will continue on an upward trajectory. So that's very good news. Really happy about that. Something else I spotted in the news today. We've heard a lot about the exodus from London, haven't we? Nobody likes our city anymore. I think we're the best city in the world. And, for me, I wouldn't want to go miles out in the middle of the countryside, but some do. But apparently young people do not. 73% of 25 to 44-year-olds are staying in London. And that's good news for the capital. The young people are staying, and, it's a great city. And you may talk about, obviously, if you're in a flat and you're struggling for space, then we sympathise with that, especially if you've got no outdoor space. That must be terrible. But if you can afford some outdoor space here in London or on the outskirts and commute in, then you get the benefits of living in our beautiful, vibrant capital city, and also hopefully a bit of outdoor space too, and access to all the conveniences that we're used to. You look at some of these areas and they're all very well, but really one shop, the corner shop, if that's the life you want, then good for you. But that's a bit too remote for me. Apart from that, really happy about that announcement from yesterday, if it's true to form. But we won't really know until we hear what the meat on the bones is. As usual, big announcement is the Tory party conference. Is it just a hollow statement that will end up in not very much? I hope not. I hope the intention is, I think the intention is correct behind it. But let's face it, they messed up a lot of things in the past. Now, the idea, though, that people that are renting in his speech, he mentioned that people that are renting, they can't necessarily have their own doorbell. I think that's a bit over the top. We've got a lot of tenants in the hundreds, and many of our tenants are very happy renting where they rent and doing what they do. Would they like to lock it down and get a permanent home? Yeah, many of them would. And hopefully this will be the incentive that hopes them get across. But don't get the impression that everybody in rented accommodation is living in some sort of horrible world, because many are very happy in good quality accommodation, in good commuter distance to local stations. So, one there that I think should be considered. Apart from that, I hope you have a good day today. We'll be back again tomorrow for another Ken at 10. And weather here in Norbury at the moment, a little bit grey and overcast, but thankfully dry. So we might get some video work in today, which we need to catch up on, make sure we're ready in case that second lockdown comes and we're ahead of the game like we were last time. So keep you and your family safe, and we'll be back same time tomorrow with another Ken at 10. Take care of yourselves and your families. Ciao.